This is our review for Sebastien Loeb. I'm not even going to say the rest of it. Right.
It's pronounced Avo. Apparently.
If you want to know anything about the game, I'll give you a quick introduction. Obviously, developed by the man himself, Sebastien Loeb, in conjunction with Milestone, who made the previous WRC games on PlayStation 3. And
are you recording this
I'm not recording it at the moment, no. Anyhow, Milestone, as we know, made some decent games in the past. Not great, but decent nonetheless for WRC. Probably better than. Yeah. Anyhow, we've got loads of different things to talk about for this game at the minute. First things first. This is going in direct competition with WRC 5 and obviously Dirt Rally that comes out on the 4th or the 6th of April. I can't remember which date it is. There's many different options available in Sebastien Loeb. Here's just some of them I'm going to talk about. There's Rallycross, Pikes Peak Time Trial. That's just in the quick mode option. Career, obviously. Career mode is humongous. I'll speak about career mode in a little while. While I'm talking, obviously you'll be seeing footage of me driving a Lancia Stratos around Rally Australia. And then there's 2 Rallycross videos afterwards. One of which I get completely annihilated by the AI, and when I say annihilated, I mean my car gets destroyed practically. More on that in a bit.
I thought you weren't allowed to shoot videos in actual games.
You can
once they've been
released, or you have YouTuber privileges,
which we have the released bit.
We
have the peasant version right now.
There's
We're working
also
on that.
The Loeb career experience now. For anyone who wants to know what the normal career mode is, basically you start off as a young rookie, you work your way up, and there's a system where you buy cars. So you take part in events, you buy a car for it, you keep going. But there's a lot of ramifications. If you buy the wrong car that doesn't suit your driving style, then you're stuck with a car that's crap. Fortunately though, you can rent cars providing you've got the money to cover the rent for it for that event. And usually if you rent a car and you win the event, you'll get double the money that you got from the rent. So say a car costs 75 grand to rent for an event, then usually the prize fund's something maybe about 150,000, 200,000. And to be fair, that's, you could...
Has he always stayed at Citroen, did he?
He was at, yeah, and then obviously last year that partnership ended, or earlier this year. Now you can change, there's all little customisable details that you can do. You can change your livery, you can change the team name, you can put your team members, suit and helmet that you can change, obviously.
So who's your co-driver? Please tell me it's not me or Matty.
It's not either of you two. I've just done that. You can change the fonts and your team motif and everything. That's all the stuff on the surface. That's cool. We've spoken about that.
What cars you got?
I've got a few cars at the moment. I've got a Peugeot 106, obviously I've got the 405 T16, Lancia Fulvia HF, part of the 70s rally class, Suzuki 1600, which I won in an event, Renault Clio Williams, which is perhaps one of the most little cars I've ever driven on a game, Delta Integrale, naturally, Saxo, which I won, another Punto, which I won, Fiat 131 a Bath, Stratos, obviously, which is in the actual gameplay video in a bit, and I've only just bought the Impreza, but that is one of the videos where my Impreza, on my first drive of it, gets annihilated. Now,
can you drive the Impreza again, just to show us?
I will do once I finish this review.
Okay.
Now, we're going to talk about the gameplay, because that's the most important thing, obviously. You're going up against WRC 5, which has got a big backer, and you're going up against Dirt Rally, which has got Codemasters. But
they're both Codemasters, aren't they?
WRC 5 is not made by Codemasters.
Not good.
WRC 5 is made by Kiloton Games.
It doesn't exist.
Now,
I'll be selling my copy of WRC 5 then. £2.50.
Well, in any case, well done. See, this is why I don't let you put stuff in the bin. But with the gameplay, this is mainly a simulation-based racer. It's not like WRC 5, which is more arcade style, which is more forgiving. This is, if you make a mistake, you're going into a tree.
Tree last week.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it a bit like Project Cars? If you make a little
it's
mistake,
like, yeah,
it can cost you the race.
You could say, in a sense, it is like that, yes. The gaming physics of this game, the simulation, you can tell it's simulation because there's it focuses things on like weight transfer, and you know you have to, you know, like in some games when on rally games in the past, you brake and you can brake about 100 metres before the corner on gravel and still make the corner. Now you actually have to brake when you need to brake rather than if you make. You can occasionally get away with the odd lock up and go wide, but if you lock up on this game and you're doing, let's say, 90 miles an hour, you're turning the wheel, the only way that you're going to get away with it is if there's nothing in front of you. It's like if you brake and you're doing 90, especially in a Peugeot 106, just to use an example, if you're doing 90 miles an hour on that and you brake and turn and there's some trees in front of you, you're going to hit them.
You're then going to become part of the tree.
Or if you see a wall, you're going to be embedded into the wall.
So let's put it this way, you could basically become part of Mother Nature.
Yeah.
In a Peugeot 106.
Or any other car you choose.
It's entirely up to you, there's other cars available, but personally, I'd probably drive the 106 into the tree.
Anyhow.
But I'll become a route, but okay.
Alright, Mikey, shut up. Anyway,
alright.
You're going on. You played the game once.
Oh, fuck off, man. You've eaten all them.
Do you mind? Anyway, when you're driving this game, it is actually one of the toughest rally games I've ever played. I'm going to say that straight off. I've only played it for 9 days now, and I'm still getting used to the game. One thing I would notice is that if you're a rally newcomer, then you want to have all the assists on, definitely 100%, because you're going to struggle if you're not. If you're maybe first time buying a rally game, maybe even second time buying a rally game, you want the assists on, because it is difficult. It really is difficult, to be fair. Also, the gameplay is really good, actually. I actually really enjoyed playing it. Despite the fact of how hard it is as a simulating rally game, it's actually really good fun. I've had so much fun driving the front wheel drive cars on loose surfaces, more than I have on any other game. And to bring us back to like the loose surfaces, briefly going to have to mention the real life stages because they are perfectly designed the way they should be. San Remo, which is in Italy for those of you that didn't know, is, you know, the stages are properly narrow. They're not like in some games where they've extended the track out slightly to give you newcomers a bit of a chance. No, it's just straight up. If you go off, you're going off. There's no middle ground. It's not like, do you want a chance of maybe correcting your car? No, you're going into the wall or the tree or anything that's either a wall or a tree. I think though, when I play this, obviously we might have to make some comparison to WRC5, which I will do in a minute. But there are other things that we must take note. The Rallycross is really good fun.
Is it?
It's a shame that they didn't get the Rallycross license. Obviously, Codemasters have got it for Dirt Rally because it would have been great to have seen what they could have done. I mean, to be fair, the Codemasters are the right people to get the license compared to this, but it would have been interesting because the AI are really good in this. They drive like proper Rallycross drivers. If they want to bump you out the way, they're going to bump you out the way.
Is it like the old Dirt 2 Rallycross? Like AI?
I didn't play Dirt 2.
You never played Dirt 2?
I've played it, but I never owned it.
Dirt 2 didn't have it. Oh, you had a little bit of
A little bit,
Dirt
yeah.
3.
Dirt 3 was the
Obviously,
one.
you had Pikes Peak, drifting events, you had...
LA.
There's loads of
That,
stuff.
like the X Games and stuff.
This has actually got official tracks from Rallycross as well.
Has it?
Yeah, it's got some
Griffith. After this.
Yes. Just calm. There are other things, obviously, that we can speak about, like, you know, the career mode I've mentioned, the Sebastien Loeb experience, which you actually take part in events that he did when he was younger. It's actually really cool, to be fair, and there's some videos attached to it, and he actually explains his career and how he's gone through and everything.
Well, we'll look at them in a bit.
Yeah, we can, and it is really good in that sense. Obviously, there are a few negatives I'm going to come to in a minute. Let's be fair, graphically, I've got no problem with graphics, but for the people that always moan about graphics, I have to talk about this. It's no Dirt Rally, let's be honest.
To be fair,
Dirt Rally looks...
but how long have you been
set
making
the
this in
stand.
Dirt Rally?
Years.
You've made this for a few years, and you've made Dirt Rally for a few years.
Exactly. You're not going to always get perfect. Right.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not saying
No,
that at all.
I'm not going to go at you. I'm just saying.
You are having a go though.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm not having a go at people. But what I'm saying
I'm
is,
a graphic person, and I think personally that looks quite good.
I think that's. I mean, I've got no problem with graphics.
I just
Frame
want to
rates
know
I have a
about
problem with, but graphics I don't. And I think, to be personally honest, it's fine. And as we're saying about the graphics, it's 30 frames per second, locked at 30 frames per second, and you can tell because on single player there is no frame rate drop at all. It's probably the most consistent game I've played in the last 2 years for frame rates. I've had no issues with it. And it's allowed them to put a bit more detail in. One complaint I had at WRC5 was the fact that there was no spectators or helicopters really. So it
I
just
noticed
felt
that myself.
this is packed full. It really does feel like you're driving in a proper event, and it's, you know, you can hear the crowd and everything, and the camera crews and everything. They're all out there. So that, you know, it populates the stages, which makes it feel like a proper rally, not like you're just going through a rally by yourself. There are other things, I mean, there are other negatives. The audio, for example, the sounds. Some sounds are not too bad, they're okay, but others sound like a turbocharged vacuum cleaner. It's piss poor at best, to be fair, and it's a shame because some of the cars in this game are absolutely incredible, and you think you really should have had better sounds for this, because it is bad. And that's starting to become a thing for me now, where if you get a rally game, you want a car to sound like a rally car. You don't want it to sound like a muffled balloon.
It's like Forza and stuff. When I play that, you want that. You want to sit in that car. Fair enough. You want it like
Fair enough. You
inside
can't.
the car.
Fair enough. You can't always get 100% what
But
the
you
sound
want
is
that
like.
sort of
But you want
closeness.
a sound that is related to the car. This does not sound like a car. This sounds exactly like a turbocharged vacuum cleaner. Other things of note online, online systems exactly the same. If you've ever played WRC4, for anyone who's listening, it's pretty much exactly the same. And that was a tried and tested and proven system for online, and it works perfectly fine, except for one thing. And you'll see this in one of the online footage plays I've done for the video. For some reason, when you're in interior camera, just for the record, interior camera is not that well detailed on any of the cars, but if you're in the interior camera, for some reason, the game seems to stutter. Now, I don't know why that happens, because you'll see in the footage, I'm driving a Peugeot, actually. I'm driving interior cam, and the instruments which move aren't moving, which is weird. And the second thing is, when you're in the car, it stutters, but as soon as you switch to exterior camera or bonnet camera, the gameplay is fine. I mean, the instruments, the rev counter, the miles per hour, it's fine in the actual game on single player. It's just, for some reason, it doesn't see it online. Very strange. I think maybe it could be down to some code. It's a number of things it could be. But, apart from that aside, I haven't had any bugs or glitches. I mean, to be fair, there are a lot of good thing. There is a season pass for this. I don't know whether I'd recommend it because I don't know what's going to be part of it. I'd also say that I think in terms of gameplay, and if you talk about the style, if you talk about like the gameplay, if you want to compare it to WRC5, which is what I'm going to do first, this is a million times better than that game. WRC5, now that I think about it, feels like a massive disappointment compared to this.
Oh, you think?
And I sit there and I think, I'm sat here and I think, why didn't Milestone ever make a game like this for the WRC? Why couldn't they? I mean, maybe obviously with licensing issues they couldn't do certain things like old retro cars and stuff. I mean, he did do it once and it was okay. But I sit there and think, why couldn't they ever do this level of simulation? Is it because they were just restricted and they were told that they had to? Maybe that's what it was. Also, also the fact of the matter is, this is a better game, 100%. The only thing I'd say that WRC5 has over it is, I think the fact that it just has the official WRC license. That's really the only thing that makes it the only positive point really that this has over Sebastien Loeb. I'd also say, the other thing, obviously, we're going to have to get to the elephant in the room. Dirt Rally, is it going to be better? Is it going to be... It's hard because Dirt Rally is one of those games where, graphically, it's one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. sound-wise, it's the most amazing thing I've ever heard. The two problems that this has, what people would say, is the graphics and the audio. The audio is piss poor, to be fair. I don't think it'll be better than Dirt Rally, but if people need a rallying fix until April, I'd highly recommend this. Because I think for simulation and for enjoyability, because the cars, for the kickoff, if you drive a 70s rally car and then move up to an 80s rally car, every single discipline feels different in the way it drives. And there aren't many games that do that. So, kudos to Milestone for actually making a game that's very, very, very good, but just falls short of being amazing. And that's not a bad thing, to be fair. It's just a few things. It's just the audio. If the audio was spot on, this would be a bloody great game. But it's not. You want to make a point, what is it?
Just send your check to the post to CH.
No, to be fair, they've done a really good job. I can't see it being better than Dirt Rally though. It's just.
This will be with Dirt Rally.
I will say one thing that this has over Dirt Rally though. The sense of speed in this game is spot on. You're doing 80 miles an hour. It feels like you're doing 4 million through a bloody track in Finland. Dirt Rally is a bit poor for that. You feel like you're going a lot slower. It feels like F1 2015 a little bit in terms of the sense of speed.
What?
When you're doing 80 or 90 mile an hour in a rally car and Dirt Rally, it doesn't feel like you're doing 80 or 90 mile an hour. It feels slower. This feels like you're doing that speed.
Yeah, but you said it's an F1.
Yeah, but the problem is, it doesn't feel like you're doing that.
I mean,
it feels very slow when you play that game. And that's what Dirt Rally's a little bit like. But that's just a personal complaint. I mean, it could be fixed for PS4 and Xbox One when it comes out. It might not be, who knows. But this is a good game. I won't say any more on that because it is. There's just a few things that ruin it. If I was to give it a rating, seeing as the WRC5 review I gave was a 7, I've actually revalued it down to a 7. This is going to get a highly recommendable 8 point. Let's go 3. Let's go 3. I'll say 3. I think it's a bloody good game. It really is enjoyable. And I would recommend it to anyone, to be fair.
Oh, no.